The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Just 25, she was a nice little wife. She was just 2 years younger than me. She was so full with enjoyment, she liked to have lots of fun. And sometimes she goes on a spree. Now she left me behind with 8 babies to mind and the house in good order to keep. While she went a-sporting and having a fine time, I had to rock those 8 babies to sleep. Singing I-O-E, rock-a-bye.
Good morning this morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It is a Culture Thursday on the 17th of August 2023, and you're on the clock with Erin, Greene. We got a full house of notes today. No one in studio with me, so we get lots of conversation to have. Let me get through our Sand Dollar Live reads, then to housekeeping, and then to what's in the news. Today, Thursday the 17th, and tomorrow, Friday the 18th of August, Central Bank representatives will be giving out sand dollars at Fresh Market Harbor Bay location. Show your sand dollar enabled digital wallet at the door and receive $20. Spend $18 or more in sand dollars at the register and get $5 back when you leave the store. This offer is limited to the first 100 customers to show their sand dollar enabled wallet at each location. One top-up per person, so as many people as possible can experience the Sand Dollar. For more details, visit any of the Sand Dollar social media pages or call 302-9880. Now, the numbers to call for our on-the-clock Sand Dollar Trivia giveaway: 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, and 242-300-5720 for people in the Bahamas but not on New Providence. The text line powered by BTC is 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. If you're going to send your answer via text, remember to put your Sand Dollar wallet information in the same text as the answer. Your answer is not valid until I get your Sand Dollar information. So, guys, every day for the next 2 months, we'll be giving away sand dollars to digital wallet holders. Every week, players can win $30 in sand dollars. To be eligible to win, you must have a digital wallet and answer the trivia question correctly. When you call in, give the producer your name and number and wallet information. If you answer the question correctly, you may be transferred back to the producer to confirm said information. Listeners are restricted to one transfer for the duration of the competition. You can only win once. So here is the first question of the day. How many babies did George Simonette's wife leave him behind to mind? How many babies did George Simonette's wife leave him behind to mind? The first question of the day. Now, quickly to some housekeeping. You say happy birthday to 2 cousins of mine, Rhonda Bailey Seymour. Good morning and happy birthday, cousin. And happy birthday to the one and only Pa, a.k.a. Sakani Nash, a.k.a. Minister of Works on People's Nerves from the Spot 242. Happy birthday, cousin Sakani. Also, on a sad note, I want to say condolences to the family of Mrs. Edgar from Edgar's Farms. I was fortunate enough to know Mrs. Edgar because of a family relationship. My father and Mr. Edgar were good friends. And Edgar's only showed me and my business partner, who she's also friends with her family, love. The Edgars were an example, a shining example of love. They loved everyone that came into their sphere. They loved other people's children like their own children. And it's an example that I hope their children are able to solidify into a legacy to share with the rest of the country. Also, on another note, we say condolences, I think, to the family of Mr. James Lockhart, another pioneering Bahamian. Condolences to your family and to the entire Ragged Island community. Good morning, Bahamas. There's lots to talk about in the news today. It's a Culture Thursday. I got music, I got questions, I've got news articles. Again, the first question of the day: how many babies did George Simonette's wife leave him behind to mine? I got a text answer here, but dear texter, you have a digital wallet, but you need to have one of the 7 local digital wallets to be able to receive the funds. We're looking at MoneyMax, Mobile Assist, Island Pay, Cash and Go, Sun Cash. I got to remember the other 2. And that'll come to me, but it has to be one of the local Sand Dollar apps. So here's what you do. You go to your Play Store or the App Store and you search Sand Dollar Apps Bahamas, and they should all pop up. Again, texter, you got to have a local wallet to win. The question for the day: how many babies did George Simonette's wife leave him behind to mine? I gave you a good clue at the top of the show. Well, BPL is on the list of things to talk about this morning. I know Mr. Strawn spent a lot of time talking about it, but I'm looking at this article in yesterday's Tribune. Oil leak investigated 20 months after spill. DEPP to send team next week to probe January 2022 BPL issue. And the article starts: the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection will start assessing a Bahamas Power and Light diesel spill in North Andros within a week, nearly 20 months after large quantities of oil reportedly leaked there. We need to see what is going on first to be able to determine if BPL has complied with the law or not complied with the law, DEPP Director Dr. Rihanna Neely Murphy said yesterday. Quote, so once we conduct our site assessments, we will be able to get further information, close quotes. It is not clear when DEPP was notified about the leak. Under the Environmental Planning and Protection Act, those who own, operate, or control premises involving a pollutant spill must notify DEPP, implement an improved contingency plan, and work to minimize the threat to human health or the environment. Randy Butler, the president and director of Duran Corporation Holdings, a company suing BPL over the leak, expressed outrage yesterday at how long it has taken officials to address the issue, which some fear threatens the environment. Quote, you have 2 oil leaks, close quotes, he said yesterday. Quote, one was in 2019, the other in 2022. Both were reported to you. And close quotes right there. This is the most troubling part. DEPP suggests that they were unaware, and the entity suing BPL says that there were actually 2 leaks, and you were notified, BPL was, or DEPP was notified about both. The people in Andros right now are suffering. They have no certainty around their power supply. They can't run their businesses properly. They don't know when to be prepared, right? They don't know when the power outage is going to happen. They can't plan anything. They're losing resources and fish stock, right? They're spending unnecessary amounts of money trying to maintain basic living conditions. This is why story is extremely troubling to me. Has a report been issued and made public on the recent fire in North Andros that destroyed the entire BPL plant? Has there been a report? Did they send a team of investigators down to determine the cause of the fire? Because the people of Andros deserve our best. Ministry of National Security needs to put investigators on this right away. Because an entire power plant burned down. We don't know why it burned down yet. Do we? Has a report been made public? Y'all need to look into this right away. The people of Andros deserve better. That's just one point. Here's the second point. I remember when y'all used to tell us that Andros was our bread basket. That's where we grow all our food. I remember when y'all used to tell us that Andros is where we get all our water from. And here we are talking about what Duran Corporation Holdings says is 2 leaks over 4 years. And do we have any knowledge? Have we assessed? Do we have any idea the impact that these leaks have had on the environment, on the water table, on the soil, our ability to grow food in Andros, Androsians' ability to grow food? Has anybody thought about how a leak that has existed, for over 4 years, 2 leaks, has impacted or could potentially impact the crab industry in Andros? This is a major issue, along with all of the other major issues taking place at BPL. Once again, I find myself compelled to call first for a commission of inquiry into the Ministry of Public Works, into BPL, BTC, and Water and Sewerage. A commission of inquiry that can interrogate former ministers of works over the last 30 years, those who are still living. And then we must demand the resignation of the Minister of Public Works. And we have to demand the resignation of the board at BPL. But we can't do that until after we have identified the most effective and efficient mechanism to interrogate them. See, I don't want it to be like, what was that, 2018, 2019, when the new BPL board had the audacity to tell the chair of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation in the public domain. The new board told them, we're not prepared to answer any of the questions put to the old board. See, we're trying to avoid situations like that. We should catch Mr. Desmond Bannister right now while he's feeling very, very chatty, very, very talkative. Catch him right now. He could be the first one. Let's go to Frank Watson Boulevard. Set it up there. See what we could find. See, because while people are suffering, by people I mean me, I almost lost a ductless unit yet last night. I almost lost one of the main AC units in my house. And now y'all gonna say, Erin, you said main, like you got multiple. Like these are middle class people problems. These are upper class people problems. They are partially, like this part of it affects me in that way. This is affecting everybody. Right? There's thank you text. I forgot Canoe. Can't forget Canoe. Got to throw Canoe out there. One of the 7 local digital wallets. There is something terribly wrong at BPL. And we all need to demand answers and clarity. Because I know that when I was trying to talk about Alstom, you always tell me, Erin, you don't know enough about anything to talk about this. I knew this was going to happen again. And I know you all didn't expect it to happen again. But here we are. And it's happening all over again. And I want to tell you all, it's like 10 years. You all remember 2013? 10 years. It only took 10 years for the cycle to repeat itself. So, Mr. Bannister, just remember that the dismal failure is all of y'all's fault. PLP and F&M alike. But since you're so chatty, please come and talk to the people about what actually happened in BPL while you were the minister responsible for the entity. All right, remember we got a question on the deck. In the song we played at the top of the show by George Simonet, how many babies did George Simonet's wife leave him behind to mind? Now I had another question I wanted to throw out at the top of the show. Who minds baby and keep house better? Inspired by the song that we played at the top of the show. Who is the better child care giver? Who is the better house care giver? Men or women? We often think it's women, right? That's one of those gender roles. Women take care of children. Women keep the house. But in real life, on the ground, in actuality, who is the better of the two when it comes to child care? That's something I wanted to talk about this morning. I'll tell you why. Here I am looking at the Minister for National Security. The headline in the Tribune, Rape Child's Abortion, Police Should Investigate. The headline in The Guardian, Girl 11 impregnated by mother's boyfriend. Girl aborted the baby, Monroe says. Now, I'm troubled by the story. Extremely, we should all be troubled by the story. 11-year-old impregnated. 11-year-old is able to abort the child. What troubles me is the Minister of National Security's tone. Monroe says case should consider both assault and 11-year-old's procedure. No, 11-year-olds should not be having abortions. No, they shouldn't. 11-year-olds shouldn't be pregnant. They shouldn't. They wouldn't need an abortion. They wouldn't have an abortion if they weren't pregnant in the first place. Yes, we need to understand entirely the circumstances around the abortion. But here's my first question. How do you know it was an abortion? See, because abortions are illegal, but terminations are not illegal. A termination can occur up to a certain point. in the pregnancy. And once you've passed that certain point, the act of termination is now illegal. So here's my first question. How do you know the stage in which the termination took place? Because that's what determines the legality or illegality. I want to read from the Tribune's article. At the top, National Security Minister Wayne Munroe expects police to investigate not only the alleged statutory rape of an 11-year-old girl impregnated by her mother's boyfriend, but also the abortion the girl received, which he said was illegal. That statutory rape, let's interrogate that, the alleged statutory rape. Calling it statutory rape suggests that the girl consented. And that the issue here is that she is unable to give consent. How do you know that she consented? And given the nature of their relationships to one another, even if the word yes came out of her mouth, is it possible that she was coerced into the act or felt compelled because the gentleman was supporting the entire family economically? So I don't like the way that this language is being applied. It feels like you are criminalizing the victim again. This is an 11-year-old girl. And while you, sir, may believe that 7-year-olds can consent, even though the law won't acknowledge it, I argue to you that even an 11-year-old girl cannot consent in the truest form of the legal concept of consent. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
Yeah, man.
And I appreciate you bringing this topic up. Was there any announcement of any arrest?
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
See, mind you, usually you hear the arrests happening simultaneously or within the hours. And I'm sure, I expect today there'll be formal charges against
The suspected, the alleged rapist, right?
one, go ahead, and against
The mother for negligence.
for negligence, right?
And and I think there may be another charge in there around medical.
Issues in terms of abortion.
Right.
Because abortion is still illegal here.
Right.
in the
However,
Bahamas.
see,
They say for whatever medical condition.
pause.
Go ahead.
Abortions are illegal. Terminations are not illegal.
And explain the difference.
So I did just before you came in. I can do it again. An abortion is illegal because it is a termination that takes place after a given date, right? After
Okay.
a time period. So say after the second trimester, if you have a termination, it's illegal because you're not allowed to have a termination after that point. So my question is this: how did they determine the stage of the pregnancy to make a determination that it was an illegal termination? If it was within the allowed time period, is it an illegal termination because the mother cannot prescribe or give her child this medicine without a prescription?
And one would assume that perhaps because the minister didn't give good details, right? He gave the information for a particular, and for lack of a better word, agenda, right? Not necessary to inform the public, because the public is now concerned. The public is now incensed. The public is now asking questions whether the doctor determined that the child needs an abortion or termination for the medical purposes, right? If the minister didn't know that, should he have mentioned, say, well, the doctors determined that the child needs it, right?
Yeah.
Or he doesn't know it. Or he does know it and decided not to mention it. Two, did the mother report this incident? Hence, that's how he knew about it. Did the medical practitioner, or did a medical practitioner called the
Child Protection
Child
Hotline
Protection
or
Hotline.
the agencies responsible.
And now the question is, should we, the public, be aware of such? If there's a minister who represents the entire ministry is given an update on such a case.
Yeah.
And if he didn't provide the said information without any necessary explanation why he's not providing information, what was the intent of the briefing? And this is where we need a more discerning public in terms of intent, right? What is your intent of giving us this information, even though we need it, right? But if you're not going to give the full story as to what is going to happen, right? That means you're doing us a disservice, as now we are, again, speculating.
Absolutely. Producer, let's take the call. See the calls rolling in. I hope you all call in to answer the trivia question. I may have to throw out another trivia question. But I tell you what, when we go to a break, I play in a song because it's Culture Thursday. I need some music. Good morning, caller. You are on the clock.
Good morning, Erin, Greene, and C.A.
Good morning.
How are you all today?
Good.
Wonderful. Well, I ain't called to answer the trivia question because in addition to not having them kind of money, you got everything got regular money.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
But listen, you two are right on point this morning. However, I think you're missing something that is basically law.
Yeah, man.
It doesn't matter whether the chat man, I am angry now. Trust me, I am angry. I think it's some bad things, but I want to say that on the radio. But the child is 11, and she had basically an unwanted pregnancy. So in a situation like that, whether she is young or is it an older person, if you are raped or battered like that, and there are provisions in the law, consulted with the right set of people, where you can terminate the pregnancy.
Yes,
that's all over
Yeah.
in the United States of America. If you got an unwanted pregnancy, especially considering her age and the circumstances under which it happened, someone would be able to consent for her to terminate her pregnancy. That's all I wanted to call. But you're all right on point.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And we feel you. We're all upset, angry, frustrated, concerned, unsure how to move forward. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. 1, 2. I'm sorry we lost you, caller. And go back to the Tribune article, a quote from the Minister of National Security. I don't direct the police what to do, he said, but they should be investigating the entire transaction.
Same thing. Doesn't that part vex you?
Yeah, let me tell you why, because that's implied. You didn't have to say that out loud. That's what we all expect them to do, whether we want them to do it or not. We expect them to do it. Why did you feel compelled, sir, to say it? Furthermore, your commentary speaking directly to those who may find themselves about to rape someone. You're warning that, come on, you don't want to be on the sex offender registry when you come out of prison, right? You don't want that, right? Consider that before you go raping people. Dear sir, I want to say this. Maybe now is a good time for you to return back to private practice.
But see, I'm not sure if the Bahamian people are enraged or incensed to understand the verbiage being used is abusive.
Yeah.
It's a vile verbiage, and it's a continuous vile verbiage against women. But the women's group are not upset. It doesn't seem they're comfortable. You're all comfortable.
I want to go as
except you. You ain't comfortable.
I want to go as far as to say that the language, the statement in and of itself, standing alone, may not seem so heinous. But as a compendium, that's like a set of laws, right? That's a fancy word. But as a collection of statements, sat side by side, it appears to somebody like me who's already frustrated with the state of sexual violence in the country, that has been trying to encourage us to have conversations about escalation in rape culture in the country. To me, all of these statements, when you put them together, suggest that y'all don't believe that these girls are victims. You believe that these are big grown women trying to take advantage of these good-hearted, simple men them, who all they want to do is find some love in their life. You are continually vilifying, producer, let's go to the calls, vilifying the victim. First of all, who and what compelled y'all to change the language from statutory rape to unlawful sexual intercourse? And why, even when the language is most appropriate, you refuse to use the correct language? An 8-year-old wasn't sexually assaulted, she's raped. She was raped.
Erin, once upon a time in the Bahamas, I thought there was a need to have specific laws to protect women and children. The powers that be, the women groups here, have concluded that there is no need to have specific laws to protect women and children who are being targeted
Because
in the Bahamas.
Right.
And we need to keep on saying that we have concluded there is no need to have specific laws to protect women and children specifically, because that's a gender issue and we don't want to have gender mentioned.
Yeah, but we need to say that that's what they say, and we need to make them say it. Stand on your own convictions. Say it out loud. Good morning, caller.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm fine. Good morning, Mr. Nuri.
Blessings.
You just go back. You don't see it in the mic, eh? Anyway, that's another story. But, Nuri and Erin.
Yeah.
It's still 16 to have intercourse, right? Woman, a teenager.
For heterosexual intercourse, it's 16. For same-sex intercourse, it's 18.
Okay, I want to clear that up.
Yeah.
So it's still on 15 and under. It's no show.
That's right. It don't matter. It don't matter. She is too young. It don't matter.
All right. But here's where I'm going with this now.
Yes, sir.
I hear the minister trying to be corrected. Mention a pedophile list.
Sexual offenders registry.
Pedophile.
No. Pause. Sexual offenders registry will include pedophiles and people who have sex with minor children. Two separate things, right? Pedophiles is prepubescent. But it will also include other offenses like maybe urinating in public or urinating within a certain distance from a school, right?
Okay,
Sorry, when I say urinating, exposing your genitals,
Right, that makes sense. Now, here's the tough question you need to answer. We already have some people who name, including reference, supposed to be on the pedophile list. Would their name be included, or would they be
you know what? I have to.
Hold on, let me finish though. I got you. Excluded because of their rank.
Okay. It has nothing to do with who you are.
I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, I know. I answered the question. Once you've been convicted, your name goes on the list.
Right.
Right. There's no status in society that could prevent your name from going on the list once you've been convicted.
But there we know our culture.
That's a like a separate.
You know our culture, right?
Yeah.
Some high class politicians and high class reverends would escape that list.
I got you.
I don't want to call the name on your show.
But the other point I wanted to make was it's not. I don't think it's retroactive. But I want to touch base with Tennille Burrows or Chavez Holland. I think from one of the child protection advocacy groups, Hollis, to have them on.
Check the last bill, the last law.
I'm not sure if it's retroactive.
But you need to check that because that's why it was in my list of the name was mentioned.
I got you.
Using care of the grandmother. Women and he spent 7 years, but at the same time, it was mentioned under the former government, this list.
I got you. But listen,
I got it. Hold on, I got you, but let me close with this. Prime Minister, I wanted my ministers of security will be honest and it's a good practice and carry it over.
I got you.
Have a good day.
Yes, sir. But, I don't think there is no legal restriction, right, that prevents an NGO or an individual for creating their own list of sexual offenders from the public records. But we exercise caution, right? We exercise caution. People need systems. People need to be able to rely on systems that they will work so they don't resort to vigilante justice. Good morning, caller.
Greene, you can hear me?
I can hear you.
Poppy here in the morning to the world who listening, and Mr. Neri Cecil, how you doing today?
Blessings to you, man.
Okay. Miss Greene, this whole thing. First of all, I don't want to ask you before I forget the Jesus March. The people who you had on, that's this week Saturday.
Yes, thank you for reminding us. August the 19th. I think starting at Arawaki and they're going down to Montague.
Yeah, big, not a party, but a big celebration down by Montague, worshiping the Lord. And they say they have little drinks and stuff.
Yeah, man, they can have a little refreshment and thing. Yeah, man, it should be a good time.
I wish I could have been there. I wish I could be there if God willing. But, I encourage everyone who could go to go and give thanks. We march on everything. Ain't nothing like marching on where our strength come from. The thing with the 11-year-old, Ms. Greene, you sound like your ears would be to the ground. Maybe it's just me. This ain't nothing new.
Not at all.
I mean,
Not at all. It ain't new at all.
This all my life, and it's because of shame. Family members and stuff don't talk this. Generally speaking, not this specific case. Generally speaking, that's the reason why they don't talk. And sometimes it don't just be a boyfriend. Sometimes it be a daddy, an uncle,
incest. I say incest.
Yes.
Rampant.
Yes, incest. I don't know what to say, how to add incest and rape together, but it even feels more than incest. I mean, I understand what incest is all about.
Yeah.
But that person being raped, and because there's a child, the mother or whosoever telling them no talking, we should be giving a trophy or giving some kind of medal to children who speak out, and we need to listen to them.
Yes.
We really need to listen to them. This BPL thing, I listened to Chihuahua line yesterday. He read the act about electric or the act what Urkel supposed to be playing. The role Urkel's supposed to be playing with the service providers, and BPL is a service provider. All this foolishness was happening with BPL. We supposed to expect down here something from Urkel.
Yeah.
So I believe Urkel have a role to play with this, and I think they need to hurry up and say something about it, ma'am.
Absolutely.
This is sickening what is happening. The light off again, I know. I am Nassau Village.
Yeah. People.
And you know what is sickening?
Yeah.
For all the people who get one little standby generator or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. You know what is sad? These service providers are supposed to have a backup generator so when the current go off, they still could provide the services. You can imagine last night the internet gone off. It on now, current off, right?
Yeah.
For some reason they must get gas in the generator to the service provider without calling any name who everybody's get internet from. So the internet is up now. I can listen to you on Alexa. I mean on TuneIn.
Yeah.
You know? But you keep up the good work, man. That ain't nothing new with the 11-year-old. If they could prove these cases, and the thing would you say about at what stage, we could disagree. Me and you could disagree on this because plenty of people have a view which you have. Well, me, at least I don't understand your view yet. But you only ask the question. From the sperm, then do its part and connect, that's a life. We just got to consider it like that. But for certain circumstances when the mother life depends on it all, I don't know if the child could ever be too young. Yeah, they're too young. So sometimes cases like that,
Yeah.
But this ain't nothing new. I'm glad they're talking about it. We need to put some pressure on mothers and parents and guardians, aunts, or whosoever watching these children, letting the uncle and this one and your husband and their own daddy going with them. My God. Keep up the good work, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, Papa. Thank you for expressing that and expressing it the way you did. Good morning, caller. You're on the clock. Caller, I missed you. All right, producer. I want to play one of these songs. Oh, good morning. You came. I hear you. I hear you.
Good morning, Erin.
Good morning. How you do?
Let me explain myself.
About what, Graham? Hold on.
About this subject.
Okay, good.
The
Good
incest,
stuff.
etc.
Okay.
I'm very disturbed. We're talking about it. Let me tell you why. Because we should have been doing something about it by now. Just talking. We've been talking forever. We've been talking about new hospital incest, rape. You got the list of stuff we've been talking about. And stop talking.
Yeah.
Now, back to the light thing. All my neighbor them had their generator on last night. Because I live in one of them little nicer area. And I couldn't breathe. I was choking from all that diesel fume. And in the state of California, it's known to cause cancer, the smoke coming from a diesel engine. The black smoke from the bus. Well, we have had 80 little generators on Blue Hill Road, diesel, putting the pollution right there in the middle of the inner city. That's the real inner city there. Because if you look at the density of the population of this island and those generators, you can't help but have cancer. But anyway, why are we still talking about the light issue? That over. I mean, from 1995 with Chrissy Love, and then in 99 with the Y2K with Mike Smith. I've been talking about solar from then. And then I said it could be free. They call me crazy. But Perry Gladstone Christie was prime minister for quite some time. He wasn't crazy, and he said in 2016, repeating what I had said, free electricity. Maybe he knew about the carbon credits that we could take and leverage to get the free solar panels. But now the much more most honorable Philip Brave Davis is talking about carbon credits, finally, 20 years after we was talking, 15. But we ain't doing nothing. We're just talking carbon credit. You know, there's one guy who ain't just talking. So I got to start looking that way because I had 50 years of talk, and I still have to go to the UBP 1952 hospital if something happened to me right now. God forbid.
I got you, Graham. Thank you very much.
You have a good one.
Absolutely.
And don't worry about the light, child. We can fix it. We promise.
Listen,
the next party.
Graham, thank you. You caused me have to hang up on you trying to yuck up my 30 years, you know. 30 years minimum. Producer, play. Look what you could get from her as we go to a break. I got to go to a break. Caller, I'm going to throw out this question quickly while we go into the break. I got to answer. It's 8 babies. George Simonette's wife left him behind to mind 8 babies. Second question, I can throw it out very quickly. In the song Blame It on the Water by Avi, what chapter does the teacher ask the students to open to in the beginning of the song? We're going into a break. We will be right back.
Over the UE, over the hill, down in the field. You know what I'm saying? Ring that scream style. Watch it. Watch it, G. Watch this. Let's go.
Once I had a girl, she called me pain. Left me in the cold and pouring rain. So I decided to put her down. I took her to my town. There I met a gal in the pain. Outside in the field, cotton cane. She looked so good, my pressure rise, my lord. When I looked into her big brown eyes, I said, look what you could get when you're tired of what you got. Look what you could get when you're tired of what you got.
Girl, you see how Cora eye look funny, all black up yesterday?
But she say she bump into a wall when she's running after the churn them.
Yeah, but last Saturday you see her arm was all black and blue, right?
So what you saying? You think something wrong between her and Jack?
I ain't sure, but you know Jack is a jealous man. I hear him and Cora last Friday. I hear him say he hear Cora have eyes for Junior.
Now you know that ain't true. Cora is a good woman. Does mind her business, take care of them churn, and go to church every Sunday. So what you think we should do?
I think we should report Jack, you know. Cora don't say nothing, but silence hides violence, and we don't want to line up in the cemetery.
Not me. I ain't getting in nobody business. Then Jack come after me and I land up next to Cora.
No, man, we could call a text crime stopper. And remember, we can even get some grocery money for our tip.
Remind me again, how does this work?
We can call them in Miami at 328-TIPS or 328-8477. Or when we in the island, call toll free at 300-TIPS or 300-8477. And if you don't have no minutes, use the Crack Crime Bahamas app and we could text them. And the messages get all mix up before it leave your phone so nobody can know what you saying.
So what we waiting on then? Let's go earn some grocery money.
Vaccines are essential for new and returning students. Vaccines also protect fellow students, teachers, staff, and other members of the community from serious illnesses and even death. As you begin your back-to-school preparations, ensure that your children's vaccinations are up to date. All vaccines are available at all public health clinics.
This message is brought to you by PAHO WHO, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and USAID.
The Grand Bahama News is available every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian. Buy your local paper at Freeport convenience stores, Western Bakery, DeGregory's Fine Foods, and Bellevue Gifts. Want to reach your Grand Bahama customers? Then call Barefoot Marketing at 827-4578 or message them for ad rates via their Facebook page. Advertising opportunities now include classified ads too. Keep up with all the latest Grand Bahama news in the Nassau Guardian newspaper every Tuesday.
Now she was just 25. She was a nice.
Welcome back to On the Clock with Erin Greene. That was the beginning of that song again. 8 Babies by George Simonette. We got a correct answer on the text line. I threw out the second question. I know we are all out of time, but if you get me that second question right now, you could win $30. In the song Blame It on the Water, what chapter does the teacher ask the students to open to in the beginning of the song? The next point I wanted to make that came up in this discussion, Gina Rogers Seeley and team of producers have produced Two-Face Gender Equality in the Bahamas, a documentary about sexual violence and equality between men and women and gender-based violence in the Bahamas. It's an excellent documentary. If you have an opportunity to see it, you must see it because you can hear from victims of gender-based violence. You hear from women that talk about being molested and raped as young girls as well. It's best to speak to those who have experienced it. Got another text here. Unpopular facts. Children of single fathers, never married, have better future life prospects than children of single mothers. 80 plus, let's take that caller, producer. 80+% of people in prison are from single mothers. And I wanted to say, texter, maybe you mean male primary caregiver versus female primary caregiver. That's what you mean, right? Because if there's a single mother, then there's also a single father in the picture. I think the correct language is is primary caregiver. Good morning, caller. You're on the clock.
Pleasant good morning, Erin.
Good morning.
Excellent. Trust you could hear me. I'm
yes, sir.
Calling not too far from your younger sibling.
Okay.
Here in the Peach State.
Thank you.
And I know you're a good comic, but what I wanted to chime in and say, accountability to the crimes, to the minors. Yes, this has been going on for a long time, and the individuals who know the perpetrators need to come forward, and they simply be punished by the fullest extent of the law. And that's it. On the BPL issue, I guess you knew the same age, and remember sometimes you used to put on clothes, but people never used to bathe. Remember that? Right?
Yeah.
To let it be known to the residents of the Bahamas, it's going to get worse. Let me tell you why. One concept is infrastructure maintenance. So even if you have decent power generation, would the infrastructure be able to handle the load going to the residents? So we now have even a deeper issue because we know that the infrastructure is subpar.
Yep.
So unfortunately, we didn't see nothing yet.
Oh yeah.
Right. And when you look at the size of New Providence, that's a city.
Yeah.
It should be no reason why power should not be generated efficiently to all the paid residents of the island. That's ridiculous. So I don't know what the conversation is going to be about the repair of infrastructure or the upgrade of infrastructure. We're just talking about the repair and upgrade of the distribution. So have a great one, and I appreciate the conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. Transmission and distribution. And I remember, I think it was last year or the year before last when BPL was trying to convince us that all is well at BPL. The next stage is to focus on transmission and distribution. And I said clearly, it doesn't matter how much generation you have. If the trees are eating your lines, if the poles are leaning, if they're constantly being hit by cars and not repaired, if untrained workmen are cutting lines as they're trimming yards or cables as they're excavating and digging into the ground. Right? Many of us are suffering not because we can't get electricity, but because the surges that we experience are destroying all of the appliances in our homes. And even whole house surge protectors are not helping. Without a doubt. And I'm sure in one of these articles, it's either ex-DPM challenges government on engineers BPL report or BPL explains woes at Station A plant. One of these people was suggesting that people want their power, like all of the people who paying for power want power, as if it's a surprise to you that us Bahamians would have that expectation. But this is a cultural producer. Play that music, play that song, because I forget my show over. Play that song from her. Yesterday, I went to an establishment. I ordered some dumplings. The young lady asked me if I wanted them heated, and I said no, because I wasn't going to eat them for a couple of hours. When I go to pick up the dumplings, the young man is taking them out of the microwave. And I said, oh, wait, are those mine? Because I asked for them to not be heated. And his response to me was essentially, well, I'm not the one who put them in the microwave. As if I was supposed to still take the dumplings that I specifically said I didn't want. And so when I said to him, matters like this these could be frustrating, but surely you can't take it out on me, the customer, he got even more upset at me. This is a cultural thing, Bahamians. Anyway, y'all hear the song? The song is called Small Hope Bay. It's called Chinese Children. It's performed by Small Hope Bay Carnival featuring Duke Hanna. When we come back next week, we're going to talk about this song called Chinese Children.
I met Melda in 1950, 3 months in the way, but unknown to me. I'm so stupid and woman crazy, and notice at all she making a baby. She started getting stouter and stouter, and made a Chinese child 6 months after. She's telling me that I am the father, and only 3 months. I know the gal Melda, and that's why a shamer doesn't tell nobody when Chinese children calling me daddy. You know me, mommy doesn't want to beat me well. Chinese children calling me daddy.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.